Okay.
Okay. Fremont Art Association is happy to welcome Sandra Smith-Dugan as our guest artist today. Sandra is known for her expressive seascapes, landscapes, and figurative work. In her demo today, Portraiture Beyond Pure Representation, Sandra will share her process and approach to gouache portraits. She has a live model, and she will show the different phases of development as she evaluates and edits her work in creating an emotive portrait. Welcome, Sandra.
Hi, thank you so much. So my beautiful model today is Soul. Hopefully you can see her. There she is. And because the time is somewhat limited for me, I usually spend about 2.5 to 3 hours doing these. I'm going to focus more just on a portrait, like a bust up kind of portrait, as opposed to full figure. But before I start, I wanted to show you some examples of my work, and I can explain a little bit about how I work as I show you these ones. So I have many to choose from. So I work on Bristol paper, and this is 19 by 24 inches. So I start out working with a pencil sketch. And in that phase, in the drawing phase, I'm working out composition, proportions, sometimes looking at the background and figuring out how much I want to bring in, or if I want to do sort of more of this sort of expressive wash situation. I have so many here. Show you, but I won't go through all of them, of course. Here's another model. This is a nude. I work with the nude model as well as the clothed model. And I'm always really responding to the character and the personality that I pick up from the model. A lot of different moods, feelings. And that'll dictate oftentimes how I work, even to a certain extent. This one's a little more of a black and white kind of situation, and this model was just very somber in his demeanor. I just kind of went with that. And just a couple more here. Hopefully you can see these okay. So this is all gouache. Some of these you may have seen on my website if you took a look. And then, but since I posted them, I've done many more. We have time at the end. I'm sure I could show you more, but why don't I go ahead and get started? Okay, so I'm gonna go 5 heads on the paper. So that's gonna take me down to about her hand, which is on her lap. She's looking up to the left and she has her elbow up, kind of slightly in shadow, her left elbow up. And then she's looking off to the left. So I'm gonna make it so I'm not gonna put her head over here where she's looking off the paper. I'm gonna scoot her over to the right just a little bit, but I do want to get in that hand because that's a nice element. And I like the value shift between the hand arm area and then her lit up face over here where the light's coming from. So I have 5 heads. So let's go from here to here to fill up the page. Halfway would be there. So we have 5. We need to make this about there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's get rid of the 1. Okay, so her head's gonna be slightly over to this direction because the composition is such that her left elbow is wider going out than her other side, so. And since I want it to be in the picture, I'm gonna scoot her over this way a little bit. If you have questions while I'm working, I think it's okay to go ahead and shoot them out. If there's something I have to really think about, I might have to stop working, but if they're, not too
Okay.
complicated, I can work and talk. I'm drawing lightly right now. I'll actually probably use. I think I'm using my darker pencil, but I'm drawing like, yeah, I'm gonna switch. Anyway, I'll come back in a little darker once I work out her proportions and stuff. Any questions so far?
No questions, but you make it look so easy. You like,
Well, I've been drawing for many years, so. And I'm a firm believer in staying loose. And some people get, pretty tight and wanna have everything, um. Perfected or something like that, but,
mhm.
okay. The one thing about gouache is it's really flexible or forgiving, I should say, similar to oil paint. So you can lay it on, work it around, and then if you don't like something, you can either kind of take a damp brush and come and remove it or just paint right over it. Very similar to acrylic in that regard. As it dries, you can paint over it, you can layer it. You can work it very thin, wash-like, or thicker and very opaque. So it's pretty fun, I have to say. So I'll be painting over this, so if this isn't, I'll make more adjustments as I add paint. Nice little cast shadow here, so I'm just gonna kind of mark that off. Use the gouache to show the shadow.
Sandra,
Yes,
someone asked, what is the paper or board that you are using?
so this is, it's called Bristol paper. So it's a non-absorbent paper. It's kind of a heavyweight. Let's see. I don't know how many pounds it is. I can check that later. It's kind of a slick surface, so it's very smooth. And it's good for water medium. And it's 19 by 24 inches, 24.5 by 19 wide. And it comes in a big pad. So this stuff, it's not necessary anymore.
There's another question. Have you
Okay.
ever tried to go straight in with paint instead of starting off with pencil?
I have, in fact, if we were in my studio, which we're not because I don't have internet connection there, I only can do roaming, and for some reason the roaming wasn't working with Zoom. I tried. So if I was there, I would show you some of my pieces where I just worked straight in. And so I love to draw. I think that's what sort of got me back into using drawing beforehand. I'm not sure why, now that you asked that question, why I got back into drawing beforehand. But I do love the feel of the pencil and line quality of drawing. So maybe that's what started it. But I have to say, just going straight and direct is really beautiful and fresh, and you can do great things. And I could, maybe I'll even just stop with the drawing for now. Okay, I'm gonna stop with the drawing. And I'll go into the, go ahead and get into the paint. In a minute. I'm gonna let the model stretch for a second, and I'm gonna grab some water for my acrylics, and I mean my gouache, and I also need to lay out my gouache really quick, so you guys can grab some tea or whatever. I'll be right back. With the black. Just go straight, like through there, and then through the laundry room, and that's right there. Sure.
Another question, do you generally work at this size or do you ever work smaller?
So for these types of drawings, definitely this size. I'd even like to go larger. So, but like when I do other kinds of work, oil, pastel oils, and not pastel, well, sometimes pastel, but oils, especially if I'm doing like plein air outdoor work, I'll work smaller. But no, not smaller for this type of work.
Sandra, are you using fresh paint?
I am. I'm just laying out some fresh gouache right now.
Is that what you always do, is use fresh paint when you're doing portraits?
So with gouache, you can actually work back into it. Like this, I'll probably use again in a couple days, and I'll just put water on it to freshen it up. It actually comes back to life. Sometimes it's it's past this. It can only do that for so long, so many days, and then you need to just put more paint in. But you can also just layer that paint, put fresh paint right over your old paint, and that works just fine too.
What brand are you using? What is your gouache?
So this is Winsor Newton. I have a lot of Winsor Newtons. I have a lot of Utrecht. I also have some of these, what is this? Royal Long Nickel. I got a big set of them at one time. I don't know what the quality is, if that one's super great, but it works just fine, actually. And then I have these big, this is white. They use a lot of white. And it's in Chinese, so I can't tell you what it is exactly. Miya, it says across the top, so maybe if you Googled that
Okay.
gouache, you might be able to find it. So this is kind of nice because you can get a lot. And it wasn't expensive either.
Thank you.
Sure.
Gouache is pretty expensive, right?
It can be, actually, so, but it doesn't have to be. I was
Right.
talking to somebody and they had these gouaches that were crazy expensive, and I think they came in pots or something, like not tubes. So I don't know, I don't find that necessary really for what I'm doing, so. Yeah. And I did one time buy some gel gouache, which was a lot of fun. It actually ended up getting moldy, which was kind of disgusting, so. But it's really, it's really cheap. And it has a different consistency. So you have to get the feel of it, to make it work for you. But it was kind of fun. Okay, let me get my water and then I'm gonna jump in. Okay, so are you ready? All good. That's not good. Okay, shoot. Unfortunately, I don't have any yellow ochre, which I don't know why I don't, and I usually use yellow ochre somewhat, but it's okay. Okay, so I use a variety of brushes. They're all watercolor brushes and different sizes. This is an Escoda brush, which I really like these. I have a set of them. I remember they were kind of pricey, but sometimes you get what you pay for sure in brushes. So I had a set of these and they're really nice. So I'll be using these. And I will also use probably, well, let's use that one. Okay. So I like to start out, I'll usually start with the darks and just start working in big areas of dark. And really, there's not a whole lot of dark in this composition. She's wearing some dark clothing, but yeah, so we'll just get going with some of that, I think. So even this is pretty light, like thin down right now, just to get going. I will be layering over it. And then I have a few of these squirrel brushes that I really like. This is a Dugata squirrel hair. You can get a really nice, like. Get some paint on here. Just a nice flow.
Can the Bristol paper be torn on the edges and mounted on a harder back?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can the
It is.
Bristol paper be torn on the edges and mounted on a harder back?
Yeah, so it's just, I just tear it out of the pad because it comes in a pad, a giant pad, and then I've taped it to this drawing board. So you don't, the tape back here, you don't see it because of how I taped it on up there. But you can see the little tape right here, yeah. No, you're good. I'm not gonna worry about. You're okay, you're good, good.
Are you painting with black now?
I have black with some blue and purple added. I might throw in some green, although I need to put some green out. So I'm just it's just a dark I'm working with right now, just to get some darks in there. Just to give it going. It'll change quite a bit over time. Can you see what I'm doing? Enough on my palette. I am, okay, sorry. So Sol has purple in her hair, so I'm gonna be taking advantage of that and getting some purple in there. She's wearing a white shirt, and so of course there's lots and lots of different values and colors and shades going on with that white shirt, so I'm gonna go ahead and work into that bit. So the left side where the light's coming from is sort of a pinky white. Also probably from the orange, from the reflected from the orange there. Well, I don't like that. Going to. Here's a smaller squirrel brush so I can get a little bit more, a little finer line. Yeah, I'm gonna work on her face some. So the drawing that I did there may completely change because something about this bothers me a little bit. I think it's because I'm standing here, she's sort of down there, and so it's a little different than if I was at the same level as her. So anyway, we'll work it out. When gouache dries, it's really different than when you're painting it, so that's just something you have to, you kind of, it dries darker. Portrait on that.
Sandra, what's the difference between gouache paint and watercolor paint?
So gouache is opaque and watercolor is translucent. You can work gouache translucent as well as opaque. Like I've done a lot of like, this washy stuff here. Could look like watercolor. However, gouache also has chalk in it, so I don't believe watercolor does. So it's a little chalky and it's also very forgiving, whereas watercolor, you have to really know what you have to always be very specific about your process with watercolor, right? Because you can just kill it too easily. Whereas watercolor, gouache, you can see I'm going in, I'm changing things. And I like that freedom. So that's how I work. I also like the layering and what that does in a painting, in terms of, adding depth and interest, texture, variety.
Is that a very fine brush you're using now for these fine features?
It's this guy here, and it's a number 6 Escoda. So yeah, it is pretty fine, and it's firm. And it's a really nice little brush.
Can you show us what your palette looks like?
Oh, let's see, I will just hold it up. It's very beautiful. That's what it looks like. So a lot of grays and stuff, which I like, because you have lots of grays in color.
Sandra, if you're doing a commissioned portrait, do you generally work from a photo or live?
So I would need to see the person live and spend some time with them and then take my own photos. And then I could, and actually it depends. So I could do that if we were gonna go for a large commission piece. If they wanted something like what I'm doing right now, then I would prefer to work from live. But if the photo, the problem with photos is that you colors are warped, proportions are warped. And if it's a commission piece and you're working from a photo and then the person says it looks nothing like the person, there's not much you can do, right? But if you're working from the person, then you can get much more of a likeness. So if somebody wanted a commission of somebody that lived, let's say they lived back east or something, I would just ask that they look at my work, look at my style, and be sure that they appreciated it for what it is and that they weren't looking for a different kind of like a real highly realistic representation of their person. But you really can capture a lot of likeness if you have the person in front of you And you can spend some time studying their features to get, you know, the likeness, get the bone structure, get the nose, you know, all these things that make that person look like them. Staying awake, okay?
You can see my eye.
It's okay. I know, it must be hard sometimes.
What helps for like the thing with Bill is that he only plays classical music
Oh,
and there's nothing to look at, so I get tired. But for other people I can play my own music and that keeps me awake.
yeah, I could have put on different music. I should have asked you what you like.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm trying. How much time does it last?
If you need a little break.
No, can I move my arm?
Yes.
Okay, I can keep my head.
Okay, I really got some work to do here. Kind of approach these funnily. Okay, we'll work on that. With a different brush. So I should probably step back for a second here and see what I'm doing. Doing on time.
It's too.
2. Okay, so we're pretty good, right? Okay. Okay. cleaning out my palette a little bit. It's too muddy. Gonna do some washes in the background. Besides the brush I want to use for that. Hmm. Little bit of background. Do you need to?
Do you need me?
No, just stay how you are, if you don't mind, unless you need, and if you need a break soon, just let me know. Okay. Yeah. That's Watson. Surprised he hasn't been around sooner. He's quite a curious kitty. He's really great. He's so funny. He's super smart and he's just a character. And then we have another one, Luna, who's a little princess and she's hilarious also. Yeah, buddy, say hi to Soul. Okay. That Luna or that Watson still? Luna came down. Isn't she pretty? So these are kitties, Luna and Watson. And Luna has a little bangle in her. She has these round spots on her wrist. And she has, I looked at their personality types and she definitely has that kind of a personality. She's very vocal and everything has to be just so for her. She gets kind of upset. Okay, so I'm gonna keep working on this, but you see how it's just, I just work with it and there's a lot more I wanna do yet, so I'll keep working. So feel free if you have any thoughts or anything to chime in or just enjoy.
So Sandra, in the model, her face on the right side, the way it looks a little more in light, and yet you've made yours a little more dark.
So,
Will you
Are you
lighten
talking
up
about this side or this side?
No, that side. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come back into this, I'll come back into all of this and emphasize more highlights. So, like I was saying, gouache dries, so when it dries, it kind of changes its changes from what it was, what you originally put down. But yes, I will work with that a little bit more for sure. the whole face I actually want to work with a lot more.
Okay, so you said you didn't have any yellow ochre, and is that what you would use in the face, is putting yellow ochre, or? What
I would
colors
probably
you-
have used some yellow ochre in her flesh. Right now, I'm just using primarily yellow, red, and blue, and white.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and actually sometimes I'll put in green as well, but yes, yellow ochre would have made for some nice, I think a nicer yellow perhaps. But I'll make it, it'll get there, I hope. He goes outside a little bit here and there, usually out through the back door, and he's pretty good about staying just in the backyard and stuff. But I don't let him go out all the time. Yeah. No, I'm doing, working on your face right now. Yeah. And also if you want to get up, just.
I'm pretty comfortable.
It's okay. Right. Shh. Yeah, he's happy. So, any other questions so far? Any comments? It's okay, whenever you, anybody. I'm falling asleep.
Are they drawing along?
I don't believe so. Is anyone drawing along? I guess not. I think they're all on mute, so it's okay.
I love your color scheme. So beautiful combination of colors.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you ever do watercolor washes across the gouache or some transparent color across?
Did someone ask a question? I could just barely hear someone's voice. Sandra, a question. Do you ever do watercolor across the gouache?
No, but I have just worked in watercolor like this also. You know, really loose and washy. Expressive. But no, I have not worked watercolor over something like this. That would be interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would add. Is there a reason? Does somebody think it might add something that they would like? Or are they just curious if I do that?
I don't think you can put a transparent color on top of an opaque color. That I don't think it would work so well. You can do the opposite where you could do the watercolor and then put gouache on top. But I don't know. I just
Yeah, I don't know either. And I'm not sure quite why. That's why I was wondering if maybe they have and that there's something neat that happened, but yeah. Yes, because you can work with watercolor and then use like white gouache, right? Opaque, instead of like masking your whites, just come back in with some white gouache on a watercolor. I've
sure.
seen that done. I mean, I've probably done that even, and yeah, so you can do things like that. Gives you a little more flexibility, right? Like you're. Okay. So usually I would take a break or two when I'm working this long with the model, so I'm not gonna just yet, but breaks can be good, you know, give yourself a breather and take a look, get your eyes off what you're doing for a little while. Come back and make changes, you know, but. Make sure I give her the right amount of fingers, 1, 2, 4.
I'm curious as to what colors you use to give her the flesh tones.
I'm primarily using, well, so primarily yellow, red, and blue. But like you saw on my palette, there's a lot of other grays and stuff going on in there, so sometimes if I need to just tone it down a little bit, I'll just grab some of the grays that are on my palette, and mix that in there.
So from the person who asked if you do watercolor across gouache, she followed it up with, just curious if you do that for your figurative pieces. I've done a combo of the two when I do a mixed media abstract piece.
So I'm just interested to know, yeah, so I can't say that I have, but I'd like to know, does she like like what kind of results does she get from working that way? Like putting watercolor over gouache? Maybe if it's abstract. What did she say she does again? Was it collage? Multimedia, because if it's that kind of a thing, then you could probably, that's sort of, you know, you're working really loosely that way too, and you can pretty much do whatever, right, kind of thing. And maybe she's painting some watercolor on some different pieces and collaging it over some gouache. I don't know what she's doing, but if it works, wonderful.
She says she's done a combo of the two when she does mixed media abstract piece. Janice, you want to expound on that?
I can't seem to untangle my cords, so I can't get a mic on.
Okay, she's got a problem. She said she can't get her mic on.
That's too bad, but if she does, I'd love to hear what she has to say.
So when I'm doing it, I'm usually the combination of the two, I'm usually doing them simultaneously with the mixed media pieces.
I did not hear you, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I can barely hear you.
She does
Okay,
it.
this should be better. So what I've done is had both mixed up at the same time, and I'm sort of working back and forth between the
Oh.
two. Because
And
of
do
the
you
gouache
like-
being such a flat.
Do you like doing that? Because, why do you like doing that?
I'm sometimes trying to sort of get more relaxed in my painting because I have a tendency to do over detail. And so if I'm doing a mixed media piece, it's a way to relax me from my over detail.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Get some more white. Yeah, I think it's really important to stay as loose as you can. That's when the good things happen, in my opinion.
15 more minutes.
15 more minutes,
Yeah, because you said 45, right?
2:45, it's 2:30 right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that sound about right, 15 more minutes
2:35 actually. So.
for,
Yes, yes.
Yes,
okay, thank you. Okay, so let's see what I can do here in 15 minutes. Okay, take a look back. Oh, yeah, okay, well, goodness. Let's get something happening.
Yeah, usually you have 6 hours.
3,
You do 3 and then the other 3.
but I usually finish it, I always finish usually, almost always finish in the first session. But I do take breaks and, but yeah, right, I could always come back, right? So let's see if I can do something here and just to. Hmm. It didn't put any green out either, which is something I normally. Okay. Let's brush. Not done, but I think I'm done for my demo. So it's 2:45. I could kind of be done, but I think that I would probably do, maybe do something in here a little bit. And just a little something here-ish, but I really wouldn't do a whole lot more. Yeah, okay.
Sandra,
Up.
may I ask you to turn the easel
Oh, sure.
facing to us, because I think we look a little bit
Yeah, no problem.
proportions. Cool, beautiful.
Can you
Thank
see it?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah. Thank you very
So
much.
does anybody have any questions or comments or anything?
beautiful portrait, Sandra.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. She's a great model. I've worked with Sol before, once or twice. And there's a lot of
Thank
fun to
you.
work with. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for you and thank you for model. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
patient. Yeah. And no breaks. I
Thank you.
understand usually you have breaks.
It's okay. The seat was really comfortable.
She was comfortable, so that helps.
So,
Okay, yeah, well, thank you for having me. It was fun. And, anything else? My cats are getting restless.
Some of the content comments, beautiful. Thank you to your model. And nice, thank you, and amazing work, Sandra.
Oh, thank you so much. That's really nice to hear. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.